You do not send women into the skies of war to bomb the enemy in rickety biplanes under cover of night. In the brutal calculus of World War II, where air power means sleek fighters and heavy bombers crewed by hardened men, the idea of deploying female pilots in obsolete wooden aircraft seems not just impractical, but suicidal. For generations, military doctrine had enshrined one unbreakable rule. Women serve on a home front, in factories or as nurses, far from the front lines where death reigned from anti-aircraft guns and night fighters prowl the darkness. This rule existed because combat aviation demands raw physical strength, unyielding nerves, and machines built for speed and armor, qualities the Soviet high command believed women lacked. The Germans, with their Luftwaffe dominating the Eastern Front, laughed at the notion, their pilots decorated for downing superior Allied aircraft. Exposing fragile planes to flak and searchlights would invite slaughter, wasting lives and resources in a war already bleeding the Soviet Union dry. The stakes were existential: lose the air war and the Nazi advance crushes Moscow. But in 1942, one woman shattered that rule forever. Imagine yourself in the frozen steppes of Ukraine, 1941, where the German invasion has carved a path of destruction through Soviet lines, leaving millions dead and cities in ruins. It's here that Nadezhda Popova, a 19-year-old dance instructor with a passion for flying, sparked at age 15, when she snuck into a local aero club, steps forward to challenge the impossible. Popova is no aristocrat. Born in a small village near Donetsk, daughter of a railway worker, she's slight in build but fierce in spirit, her dark eyes reflecting a determination forged in the hardships of collectivization and famine. What makes her different is her early defiance. She soloed at 16, earned her instructor wings by 18, and now, with the motherland under siege, she petitioned Stalin himself to form all-female aviation units. Her credentials shine. Already a skilled pilot in civilian clubs, she's one of thousands of women trained in the pre-war Oso-Avikan program, but dismissed by male commanders as unfit for combat. The broader war engulfs everything. Operation Barbarossa has claimed 3 million Soviet lives by year's end. The Wehrmacht encircles Leningrad. In the south, they push towards Stalingrad. Why does this moment matter? Because the Luftwaffe rules the day skies, bombing Soviet positions relentlessly, and only night operations can strike back without total annihilation. Stalin, swayed by aviation pioneer Marina Raskova's advocacy, authorizes 3 all-female regiments in October 1941. The 586 fighters, 587 dive bombers, and the 588 night bombers, Popova's unit. As training begins in Engels, 300 miles east of the front, Popova and her sisters face skepticism. Male instructors mock their drills. Quarters are makeshift barracks with no heat, and their planes, the Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes, are 1920s relics, wooden frames covered in fabric. Top speed 94 miles per hour, no radios, no parachutes, armed only with 2 100-pound bombs. Popova knows the truth. To survive, they must turn weakness into weapon. As the regiment deploys to the front in May 1942, she stares into the night sky, the challenge looming. You must bomb the unbeatable, or the Eastern Front collapses. The first mission launches from a muddy airfield near the Don River, June 1942. As Popova climbs into her Po-2's open cockpit, the engine sputtering to life with a cough of black smoke. Her navigator, 18-year-old Katia Ryabova, straps behind, maps clutched against a 40-knot wind. The plane lifts at 8:15 p.m., joining a formation of 12 others, each crewed by women aged 17 to 26, their faces smeared with grease to ward off frostbite in the sub-zero altitudes. Think about the vulnerability. No armor plating, just plywood and canvas that shreds under machine gun fire. Maximum altitude 3,000 feet, low enough for ground troops to hear the approach. Popova's tactic is genius in its simplicity. Climb to 2,000 feet, cut the engine 1,500 yards from the target, glide silently like a ghost, release bombs at 600 feet, then restart mid-dive and veer away. The Germans call it the whooshing sound, like a witch's broom, earning the nickname Nachthexen, night witches. Tonight's target, a German supply depot at Salsk, 20 miles ahead, guarded by 88mm flak guns and Messerschmitt Bf 109s on alert. Popova's heart races as searchlights slice the sky, 1,200 yards out. She kills the throttle. Silence envelopes them, broken only by the whistle of wind through wires. At 800 yards, flak erupts. Tracers arc up. Explosions rock the air with concussive booms that shake her teeth. Ryabova shouts bearings. Popova banks left, drops to 500 feet. Bombs away. Two 220-pounders attach, whistling down to detonate in orange fireballs amid fuel dumps, igniting 15 trucks and killing 40 enemy soldiers. But escape is hell. A searchlight locks on, blinding her. Machine guns chatter, stitching holes through the wings. Popova yanks the stick, restarts the engine with a roar, climbs steeply as bullets whiz past. One grazing her helmet. She evades, but 2 planes don't. Crashes like the horizon, for women lost. Back at base by 10:45 p.m., mechanics count 18 holes in her craft. Popova debriefs, then prepares for the next sortie at midnight. This rhythm defines their war. 8 to 10 missions per night in summer's long darkness, sleeping in dugouts by day amid mosquito swarms and artillery thunder. Tension mounts as the regiment shifts to the Taman Peninsula in 1943, supporting the Novorossiysk landings. Popova, now a flight leader with 200 missions under her belt, faces intensified defenses, German night fighters equipped with radar, flak batteries thickened to 50 guns per sector. One August night, targeting a bridgehead at Temryuk, her formation encounters a storm. Rain lashes the cockpit. Visibility drops to 100 yards. At 1,000 feet, she cuts power, glides through clouds heavy with moisture that soaks her flight suit, chilling to the bone. Enemy spotters hear nothing until too late. Bombs crater runways, destroying 3 Ju-88 bombers. But retaliation is swift. A Bf-110 dives from above, cannons blazing. Popova jinks right, her plane shuddering from near misses. Ryabova fires flares to blind pursuer. They escape, but the next wave isn't lucky. 5 planes down, 10 casualties. Popova's own brush with death comes in September over Kerch Strait. Hit by shrapnel at 700 feet, her engine falters, oil spraying across the windshield. She nurses it back, landing with 42 bullet holes. Wings tattered like lace. Yet the Po-2's resilience, lightweight, hard to hit critically, saves her. Think about the psychological toll. Germans offer the Iron Cross for any which kill, broadcasting taunts over radio. Popova presses on, her unit bombing troop concentrations, ammo dumps, even bathhouses to erode morale. POWs later confessed the relentless harassment drove them to exhaustion, mistakes costing battles. By winter 1943, casualties mount. 23 pilots killed in action, including Squadron Commander Yevdokia Brashansky as close friends, yet they fly 1,100 sorties in 1 month alone. A cliffhanger moment arrives during the Crimea offensive, April 1944. Popova leads a raid on Sevastopol's port, 30 planes strong, under a full moon that turns night to day. Flak walls erupt. 88mm shells burst at 1,500 feet, fragments tearing fabric. Her bomb run succeeds, sinking 2 supply ships, but on egress, a Focke-Wulf FW-190 ambushes, guns hammering. Popova dives to treetop level, skimming waves at 50 feet, evading by sheer audacity as bullets churn the sea. Failure seems certain when her navigator is wounded, blood soaking the maps, but she lands safely, medics rushing in. Through it all, the witches accumulate 24,000 sorties by war's end, each mission a testament to endurance. If you find this kind of untold story as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage deserve to be told, and by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. The ripple effect of Popova's regiment echoes across the Eastern Front like a persistent shadow. What the Germans didn't know was that the Night Witches' harassment didn't just destroy targets. It fractured their logistics and morale, forcing redeployments of night fighters from key sectors, weakening daytime operations. In the Taman campaign of 1943, their 2,000+ sorties disrupted supply lines, contributing to the Soviet recapture of the peninsula after 200 days of siege, with 100,000 Axis troops evacuated in disarray. This paved the way for Crimea offensive, where witches bombed fortifications, enabling the Red Army to liberate Sevastopol in May 1944, a blow that hastened Romania's defection and opened the Balkans. Enemy command reacted with fury. Luftwaffe General von Greim ordered intensified patrols, but the Po-2's low speed baffled radar, leading to wasted fuel and pilot fatigue. Over 500 German sorties yielded only 30 witch kills. The true impact wouldn't be understood until Nuremberg trials, where officers admitted the psychological drain. Sleepless nights under bombing led to errors at Kursk and Bagration, where Soviets inflicted 1 million casualties. Strategically, the regiment's success proved women's combat viability, influencing post-war policies, and saving countless Soviet lives by diverting Axis resources. Return now to the human soul of the saga. Nadezhda Popova, who flew 852 missions and earned the Hero of the Soviet Union medal among 23 in her unit, marries a fellow pilot post-war, raises a family, and becomes a teacher, passing in 2013 at age 91 in Moscow, the last of her regiment's legends. Her comrades, Rufina Gasheva, navigator with 848 sorties, Natalie Mecklin, pilot with 980, share similar honors, their names etched on memorials in Volgograd and Kerch. To this day, the Po-2 replicas fly in air shows, a nod to their ingenuity. Why does this matter now? In a world still grappling with gender in combat, Popova's story inspires resilience, showing how the overlooked can terrify tyrants. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state, and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Nadezhda Popova and the 80 women of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered